Hello, my name is Joe, and this origami tutorial will teach you how to make an origami ball. The first step is to fold the paper into a 32 by 16 grid. After you're done folding the grid, it should look a lot like this. There should be 32 individual squares along the long side and 16 going up the short side. The next part to this is to fold the diagonals of each of the squares. So you do this by taking one of the corners and folding it to the first point at which the lines cross. Then you take the point to the second, and then the third, and so on, all the way through. Once you're done folding in all the diagonals, then the next steps will be creating the pattern. There's a specific pattern of folds that you need to do to let this form into a ball. So the first steps to make an accordion of the short side. So you just fold back and forward on the short side. It doesn't matter which direction you start in. You just fold it back and forth. Okay, once you've folded it into an accordion, press down and make sure that it will, for the most part, stay like that. Make sure none of your corners are folded in yet. Okay. So once you've done that, you want to pick which side you want to be the outside of the ball. For me, this side is a bit more glossy than the other side, or other way around. This side is more glossy than the other side, so I want this to be the outside of the ball. If you have a paper that's colored on one side, you probably want the color facing outside. So the next thing you do is you take the first layer of the accordion and you poke the side in so that it folds in like that. Remember, the side that you want to be the outside of your ball should be facing up. And do that on each layer. After you've done that, it should look a lot like this. The next step is you can see how there's the inside, which is called the valley fold, and there's a peak. These peaks are called mountain folds. What you want to do is turn the valley fold into a mountain fold and the mountain fold into a valley fold. So you're basically reversing the accordion. And you only want to do this for the first layer, and as you get towards the side, it should start bunching up a bit near here. If it doesn't, probably doesn't matter very much. But get close to the edge, you should be able to pinch these two sides in, and what you want in the end is it to look like this. The pattern overall should look like this. Here's a close-up of what a fold should look like. You do it on the next one. So, you see the middle of each of these patterns, there should be a valley fold going in from each corner to the center. So if it's sticking up, you want to push it back in, and right here is where another one of those is starting. So you want all of these to be valley folds, and it should collapse in like this. And that is exactly how you want each pattern to look. You can see there's valley, valley, mountain, mountain, valley, 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 and then these two mountains right here. And so you keep inverting the accordion all the way through. After you're done with that pattern, your paper should look like this. And pretty cool pattern. You'll notice that when you stretch it out, it'll lean back, and it's very flexible, almost springy. So once you are done with one row, you want to kind of pinch it in on itself so that each of the folds are nice and strong. Sometimes they won't be very good folds and they'll bunch up and it won't go together very well. So the next step is to create another row. So you do that in the same way. Do the first row. You have to invert the accordion and go to here. Another way to look at this pattern, other than a box like this with the 4 valley folds going in, is this almost TIE fighter shape right here, like that. So you can see where the ridges need to be folded in. So you would press down here and bring that together and form another one of those TIE fighter shapes. And so that's another way you can look at this pattern. You want to make sure every now and then that as you go along you pinch it a bit so that they don't stay all splayed out. Once you are one square away from the edge of your paper, the next steps are to take these mountain folds right here and press down to make it look like this. You want to do that on all the edges. It's kind of backwards from how the pattern looks here, but it really makes the ball look better when you do it this way. Once you're done with that side, then you go to the side you started on and unfold these. I had you fold them in the first time because that way you could visualize how the pattern was supposed to look like a lot easier. But now you want to undo those and then fold it back the same way you did on this side. And now your paper should look like this. As I said before, this is a really cool pattern, and there's probably a lot more you can do with it than just a ball. But notice that when you compress it together like this, it straightens out, and when you stretch it, it curls backwards, like that. So, you can probably tell where this is going. You'll end up having it stretched out so that it folds in on itself like that and creates a ball. This pattern is a bit difficult to begin with, so you may want to practice this a few times before you start making the ball. The next and final part for making the ball doesn't involve folding. So you have these two sides here, and you need to connect them. And in doing that, you need tape. So I've experimented with several types of tape, and of all the tapes I tested, the best was by far clear Scotch tape. The thinner the better. And you want to do what I'm doing right now, which is unfold one edge like so, turn it over, and unfold that edge as well. And on the inside, the side that in my case isn't as glossy or isn't colored, that's the side you want to put the tape on. So you want to fold it kind of downward so that it's easier to put the tape on. Then you take your piece of tape and you put the end, the very corner, and then run it parallel to the crease. Once you have your tape on, it should be hanging about halfway over the edge like that. Then bend it back like that. Remember, this is the inside of the ball that's facing up. And then the other side, right here, you just want to bring the two together. Like this. The sticky side should be facing upwards, and connect the two sides using the tape like this. Do that all the way to the end. When you're done, then your paper should look almost seamless. So you want to start from either side, and you should be able to tell where each of those patterns start and end, and just refold in the patterns. This part is probably the hardest part of the ball, because if you don't do it right, it messes you up. Remember to crease very hard on the parts where there's tape behind it, because the tape won't always want to fold. when you're done punching the pattern back in place, then just squeeze in on it so that the creases tighten up again and the tape folds. This tape never likes to fold, and that's why I experimented with several types of tape. The more paper-based tapes don't want to fold at all, and obviously thick tapes like duct tape wouldn't fold no matter what you tried. So this is how it should look now, and as you can probably tell, when you press in on the sides, it buckles into a ball like that. See the top here? It's kind of fun to play around with as it is. So what you want to do to get it looking more like a ball is to fold it into kind of a donut looking shape, and then stretch out the inside a bit, like that. And then when you pop it back out, it should try to retain more of a ball shape. You'll notice that one side usually will stick out a little bit farther than the other, and that side is the side you put the tape on. I don't know if you can see creases there, but that's the seam. This is how you make the ball from a 32 by 16 grid. I've made a ball from a 64 by 32 grid before, and that was a pretty painful process, but in the end it looked really cool, and I stuck an red LED light inside of it, turned it to a lamp, and took a picture of it, and that became our profile picture. So you can use these as kind of a lamp or a ball, play around with, or just to impress your friends, and there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. Have fun.